Why do you think it's a good idea for Xiaomi to produce vehicles, but a bad idea for Apple?
You see, what the company's goals are and what it can realistically achieve are two very different things. My personal view on Apple is they have a very good strategy. The company knows exactly what it is doing. And as a result of that, I do not believe that Apple would produce a product that would actually substantially erode its margins. And the reason for that is, and Apple has always said this many times, is we do not do cheap well. And so as a result of that, I think if the company was to produce a vehicle, it would be a very high-end vehicle. And consequently, if company was then looking to earn 40% gross margin on that vehicle, the price of the vehicle would have to be 40% more than something in the same price tier and trim level. And as a result of that, I don't think the company would actually sell any volume at all. So in order to sell volume, it has to price competitively, which means gross margins erode. Now, if you look at where the valuation of the company is today in terms of its share price, what you're going to see is that if gross margins substantially erode, the valuation of the company is going to fall. And that's why it is not, in my opinion, a realistic prospect for Apple to make a vehicle for commercial sale. Now, at the same time, Apple obviously has interest in the automotive space. Why? Because the automobile is the next device that is going to be digitized. And as a result of that, Apple believes that its devices, maybe iPad or iPhone or watch or whatever, has a role to play in the vehicle. And that's where I think its strategy is. The idea is it might build a vehicle of its own to test it and to see how it can influence the user experience in the vehicle to drive loyalty to the iPhone or other products. And I don't think that its vehicle strategy goes much beyond that. And certainly if it did, and this is one thing I also wrote about a couple of weeks ago, the possibility of Apple taking more control within CarPlay of the vehicle systems itself, like opening the windows, controlling the air conditioning, and so on and so forth. The OEMs have no interest whatsoever in allowing Apple to do that because it will undermine usage of their own digital experiences. And if those digital experiences are then undermined, people will spend less time in the OEM's own digital experience, meaning that the opportunity for them to monetize digital is consequently much less. The story for Xiaomi is almost diametrically opposite. And the reason being is, if you listen to what the founder has said for many years, is that his intention was never to make more than a 5% operating margin on his smartphone devices. Now, that means when you look at the company's profitability in hardware, it's very low and comparable to vehicles. If you look at certainly European and US mainstream vehicles, operating margins typically 5 to 7%. If you look at luxury vehicles, margins typically 7 to 9% at the operating level. So you can see that if Xiaomi was to say, right, we're going to build a car, and the company was successful in selling that vehicle, there would be no net impact on profitability. And that's why the way the company has set itself up is very, very different to the way Apple has set itself up, which is why financially an electrical vehicle for Xiaomi makes sense, but it does not make sense for Apple. People often in the old days, some years ago, referred to Xiaomi as the Apple of China. I think you can see some of that in the way the company presents its products and its messaging. But if you look at underneath the financial performance of the company, these two companies are black and white, completely different.